Just like you, I know money is hard to come by, and it doesn't go as far as it used to. There's nothing worse than spending money on something that looks good, only to find out that it's not good. Prudent Player Reviews is here to help, showing you the best and worst ways to enjoy entertainment for under £10. This time out, we're looking at Star Wars Republic Commando, a game set during the most beloved period in the Star Wars saga, the prequels. At just £7.19, is Rainbow Six Vegas in space worth your hard-earned moolah? You might be forgiven for thinking that we're turning into a George Lucas fan channel, or that yet another media outlet has been taken over by the Disney overlords and we're being forced to churn out content that lines their pockets, especially since we're following up a Star Wars game review with another game in the series. But this little outing into the Clone Wars holds a special place in my fatty deposit-ridden heart, right next to my love for cheeseburgers and shouty animes. Unfortunately, if you want to get this game working on any kind of modern machine at reasonable resolutions, you're going to need to do a little tinkering. So grab your Hydro Spanner and let's get cracking. This game is not optimised for 2020 tech, but we can cut it some slack. It did come out back in 2005 after all. I was still in high school, Hurricane Katrina just devastated parts of the USA, and Revenge of the Sith was still running in cinemas. Out of the box, Republic Commando does have a few issues, especially on PC. One of which you can fix, but the other you'll have to live with. Mouse acceleration in the menus is absolutely mental. I mean light speed mental. I'm not underselling it here. The mouse cursor will literally burst out of the side of your screen and blind a passerby if you let it. Changing the sensitivity in the options, if you can bloody get there, only changes in-game sensitivity. The other issue is the previously mentioned resolution problem. The game will do its best to run in 16:9, but it stretches every texture, and it just doesn't feel right. To fix this issue, simply swing on by to MOD-DB and download the Republic Commando Fix mod. The link will be in the description, so don't worry. It takes only a few moments to set up and comes with imbecile-proof instructions. It's so simple, even I could do it. Cheesy infomercial, smile to camera. Once you boot up the game and it doesn't look like you're trying to squeeze the whole Star Wars universe into skinny jeans, you might want to lower the sensitivity of the mouse to about a 3 or a 4. I found the default was a little too high for my liking, and my crosshairs felt like a kid who just downed a pint of Sunny D. Now that the tech hurdles are dead and buried, and you've got this 15-year-old title to work on modern systems, the big question is why should you bother? Well, let's get into that. You start the game mid-montage, during your upbringing as a clone on Commando. The albino giraffe natives let you know that although you're a clone, you're a very special clone, and not just because you have cool go-faster stripes on your armour that make you look like a car a teenage boy racer would probably cream his pants over. You don't get long to enjoy clone preschool, however, as you're shipped out on a transport to Geonosis to fight droids and the flying aborted fetuses of wasps. You play as Boss, the lazily named leader of Delta Squad. As you fight droids in the trenches, who seem to have an aversion to moving and shooting at the same time, you meet up with the rest of your unit. Scorch is a demolitions expert, and my personal favourite. His speciality is blowing things up, whether that be doors or people. He's a witty and sarcastic little shit, and his comments are always a welcome distraction, regardless of whatever other intense nonsense is going on. Fixer fills the role of cliched nerdy hacker. He can slice his way into security programs or hack his way through even the most complex of vaults. He probably got his Magic the Gathering cards stolen at the Clone Canteen by the last member of your crew though, who is Sev. He's a tenacious fighter who likes to get up close and personal. This adorable little psycho probably gets his kicks by pulling the legs off of spiders just to watch them squirm. Throughout the campaign you can order your squad to do a number of different things, from providing cover fire to hacking doors, but the system doesn't always give the job to the person that's best suited for it, which breaks thematic immersion. We have a demo expert on the team, guys. Why is the hand-to-hand combat specialist and suspected serial killer lighting the damn fuse? So that's Delta Squad. You're a bunch of Ford Fiesta STs with premium racing stripes and leather interiors and an army of Ford Focuses. Before the addition of Rogue One to the Star Wars pantheon, Republic Commando was probably known as one of the more grittier and bleaker entries in the series. It's a boots-on-the-ground shooter, based during the outbreak of intergalactic war. Forget space whizzes and laser swords, this is wrist blades and thermal detonators. To give the game an authentic militaristic feel, the animation team actually brought in an honest-to-God red-blooded American Spec Ops guy to run them through some drills. From weapon handling to how to correctly breach a room. I'm pretty sure the studio head crapped their pants when the lead animator primed the breaching charge on their office door and demanded that pay rise he'd been asking for weeks. Republic Commando certainly has influences from other titles within it. The visor and hood, for example, seem almost dragged and dropped out of Metroid Prime, but the game is so meticulously dedicated to its own details and lore that it manages to provide an experience which is uniquely and unashamedly Star Wars. Despite the redesign of the B-1 droids, they're still recognisable. LucasArts even brought Jango Fett himself back, Tamura Morrison, to be the voice of Boss. The respect for the fandom and the source material radiates through everything that's been done in this game, and this has actually been lost in a handful of titles that have come out since. Not mentioning any names. Speaking of voiceovers, that's one department where this game excels. The sound design is stellar, and the work put in by the Foley artists and composers is top-notch. From the behind-the-scenes doc about the making of the game, Foley work seems to be a mix of dumpster diving and making noises with two materials that have no business being together. They'd have a field day with my gut after a Vindaloo. Now onto some of the gripes I have with the game. I'm not sure what caused this, but each room seems to be locked behind a loading screen. It might be a technical limitation, such as a memory issue, that the designers just couldn't work around, but it's shameless. It might actually be worse than Skyrim. As well as that, respawning enemies are blatant, and if you're not playing the objective within the room that you're in, things can get out of hand quickly, as more and more enemies spawn into existence out of basically nothing. Some spawn points aren't even hidden from the player, so you can at least suspend some disbelief. If you're in a room and you find yourself hit by enemy after enemy like you're playing a horde mode game, and it's wave 49, then there's a good chance there's something in the room you should be hacking or blowing up that you're just not. If only the droids fought this hard during the campaign downtime, they might have won. This game also offers the illusion of choice, which is a bit disappointing as a gamer. Your weapons are customizable, allowing for ranged, close quarters, or even explosive combat, and that rings true with how you enter rooms also. You constantly get a chance to decide to go in stealthily by hacking, or to detonate a charge and go in noisily, which then gets one of your team to throw in a grenade after the initial explosion. In truth, the stealth option only delays the shootiness by about 5 seconds before Sev decides he wants to open up the brain of the nearest droid to examine the components. There's never really a moment where you sneak your way through a whole platoon of enemies or a section of the game, and that's something I really missed. I know clones get off on being all Rambo in a military situation, but just once I would have loved to traverse the environment in the shadows like Sam Fisher. So that's Republic Commando, a fantastic game which is starting to show its age, like a guy in his late 20s filming a TikTok. With a respectable appreciation for the fans and the attention to detail in weapon and sound design, it's definitely worth a punt at under £10, if you can bring yourself to do the legwork of making it acceptable to play. Thanks for watching this episode of Prudent Player Reviews, and a massive thank you to all of the new subscribers who have joined recently. It was really nice to see all your comments, and I'm super excited to bring you more content. I hope you've liked this one, and I'll see you next time.